Alright, so I'm doing an update on all the decks I've skated over the years. That stack right there is blanks from blankdecks.com from 2010 when I got a bunch of blanks and skated them. Those blanks were really good and cheap too. I like them. Now here's a stack of company decks. I have them sorted by distribution. On the bottom, I think I have DNA distribution. I have an Alien Workshop in there and a Habitat. The Workshop is the one that I found in the trash that one day in Akron that was still in one piece, so I kept it. With all my old decks, what I'm going to do is I go back and skate them when I need to. With the ones that are still skatable, that is. But I like to collect the decks that I've skated because of all the great times I've had. And now I'm going to show all the ones I've skated. Alright, so I have all my decks sorted, and I have them sorted by distribution and company. So I'm going to start off here. Well, they're in like the order of like my favorite is at the most end. I ordered them from my least favorite to my most favorite. So started off, got a light speed blank, and World Industries right here. That one's a Heartogram. Kryptonics. Now I do have some decks missing, like a Birdhouse I have missing. Element. Yachter blank. Given. Girl. Got a Habitat and Alien Workshop. These two companies are made in Dayton, Ohio, in the DNA factory. The Alien Workshop is actually, the nose is snapped. I actually found it in the trash can. And luckily for me, it was in one piece, so I actually skated it for a half hour without breaking it any further. And feels the exact same as a Habitat. Well, it's because they're made in the same factory under the same distribution. Yeah. And then there's Almost an Enjoy. Dwindle distribution. I've skated more than one Almost. There's some missing. Well, actually, one was stolen from me. And I got NHS, Creature, and a Crime. Both really good decks. Next is my Blackout. That deck I got for $15, and it was good. Black Box, a Mystery, and a Zero. Good decks. These are the blanks. The blankdecks.com blanks. These are solid. Good blanks. Next is my Stereo. Yeah. It's a good deck. Really good. It was practically resistant to chipping. And the only thing I don't like though is that flexes like really a lot. It's a flexy deck and it lost pop fast. But other than that, it was awesome. And I got a 1031. This deck was, even though it is broken, this deck was like so strong. It's a strong deck, to be quite honest. It broke on like a power ollie off of a 7-foot drop, and then I focused the nose to see how strong it really was, and it was a strong one. It really was. Next is the Baker. This deck I love the shape of. This is probably my most favorite shape. That shape keeps its pop so good. And as I mentioned, I go back to skate decks. This was one I'm going to go back to for a 4th time. I've skated it 3 times so far. And I've put shoe glue on the tail to glue down a chip, and it works. It's working jolly wally. Next is Moose. I've actually had more than just these mooses. There's a few missing. They are the best blank I've had so far. They're amazing decks. They're strong. They're reliable. They're pretty consistent. I have to say, actually, consistency-wise, no deck company that I've skated so far is consistent. Well, I can't really say that about, say, like Habitat, because I only have one, or Girl, because I only had one. But the ones I can say that about are the companies like Almost, and company like Moose, for example. Like, they're not... I'm going to explain this in another video of why deck companies aren't consistent, because it would just take too long for me to explain. It would make this video way too long if I were to go into explaining that. And then right here we move on to the Tomiedo distribution. Got my Foundation, and then the 4 toy machines. These are awesome. Completely awesome decks. And then the next, my favorite, Deluxe. I've had 2 reels. This one snapped, and it's real. And a Crooked and an Anti-Hero. Consistency-wise, actually, I think they're the most consistent I've had, to be quite honest. They're the most consistent company I've had. They're great. They don't chip easy. They're pop last. They're strong. They're the best I've had. Oh yeah, my Fresh, that deck is actually a Moose. Just to reveal that. And the one that, like Moose, their consistency is alright. Like, but the Fresh deck, when they use that Moose, the epoxy in that one deck just wasn't mixed right, how I feel about it. Because I skated it, at the time I skated it, I wasn't really making any vids at the time. And right now, like, I skated it and then it like chipped kind of badly because of the epoxy. Because it just wasn't really, I felt that wasn't mixed right. I'm getting kind of repetitive now, but I'm going to move on to say that right now, currently, I do not possess it. I'm letting a friend borrow it because we were street skating and he snapped his workshop on a 3-stair. So he's using my Fresh and he loves it. It fits his preferences and he thinks it's a great deck. He loves it, which is good. And with him, he goes through decks actually pretty slowly. So when I get it back, it'll probably be in the same condition that I lended it to him in. And, well, a little update on Fresh. They're actually going to be using they're going to be using point distribution for their decks now. I mean, like, I thought it was, like, Moose, yeah, using their blanks, that's a good idea. They're good. Really good decks. Now, point I haven't had yet, so that's going to be a new experience. I'm pretty hyped about it. And there will be a link in the description below to Fresh's Facebook page, and you can get onto you can get onto the link from there to order a deck. They're $45 with grip, $40 without grip, which is a good price. They now have a mellow shape, which I'm very hyped about, and I can't wait till mine comes in. It's going to be great. And another Moose I'm going to be getting, actually, is I'm going to be getting another one from my friend Brian. I've been meaning to buy this one deck off of that's like brand new. He actually was making a deck company called Wakefield, and I still have yet to get it from him because we have to meet up at the right time where I have the money with me to buy it. And we've been trying to get this sorted out for the past 2 months, and I'm hoping that it gets sorted out soon so I can skate that deck and enjoy it. But yeah, Mooses, yeah, they're the blank deck to get. Now, as I said with Point, I'm gonna have a review out on the Fresh when I skate the Point deck. And these are the decks I've skated. Oh yes, I have to show you my current setup. Yeah, and I had a black label as well. This is the lab. Not too sure where I'd put it at and with the other decks, but I might do that in the future. In the next deck update video I make, which will probably be in about a year or so. I don't know. I think I might make these updates every other year. But I'm currently using it as a backup deck. I bring it with me when I go skate in case something were to happen with my main deck. So, got this one with me. It was out in the car, and I just remembered about it. It was a pretty good deck too. The only thing is that the tail, like the pop, is rather gone. But it was good. Alright, so the deck I'm currently skating is a black hole board. I got off blackholeboards.com for 25 bucks. And it's good. I've been skating it for 3 weeks so far, and it's holding up amazingly. And there's a reason why I put it next to the mooses. And that reason, I don't know if this is just me guessing from what I've seen about the deck. When I first got it, the way the top ply was, the grain on it, the color of it, the way it felt, the way the lacquer is, and everything, it's just, I think that Black Hole Boards, I don't know if this is a true fact, but I'm willing to guess that Black Hole Boards gets their decks to make their graphic decks, their shop decks, from moose. And here's the reason why I think that. Well, I already mentioned the lacquer, and I mentioned the grain on the top line. Yes, I do have Grizzly Grip right now, and it is doing its job quite good. But if you take a look at the shape of a moose. Now, this black moose I have, this one has a different shape than the rest, but it is in fact a moose. Now, a little comparison here. Actually, since this one's a little different in the shape, like there's a very this one's actually a different shape than the rest of the mooses I've ever had, and all the mooses I've seen. Both me and James Matheny have skated the same moose deck. It's great. It's really awesome. It's a dipped black blank, but it has a different shape than the rest for some odd reason. I don't know why. It just does. And now, we compare the shape here to a standard, well, how to tell a moose deck shape is that it is on the pointy side a little bit, and the nose is a little rounded, squarish kind of. And the nose is rather big, and actually the shape kind of tapers down towards the tail. You see on this moose, in the Black Holes deck, and this moose right here, and another moose I have that I currently don't own right now. Well, that I currently own, but I have like two mooses lended out. The fresh moose and the other moose, and they all have the same shape. And as you can see, this Black Holes deck has that shape as well. And for the fact of how it's been holding up, and the fact that it's really hard to chip, and how the pop is and the way the deck feels, it feels exactly like a moose. So, I'm willing to guess, keyword guess, that this deck is actually a moose. Yes. I'm just guessing though. But you know. Yeah, that's my collection of decks so far. And someday, you'll probably see me skating this deck again. And you'll probably see me skating, those ones are mostly pretty thrashed. Oh yeah, the Baker. You might see me skating this deck again. And you might see me skating, maybe one of these blanks again. And possibly the Zero or the Mystery again. Yes. So those are the decks I've skated, and had a great time skating them. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful that I am able to get like a new deck whenever I need one, because that to me, it means a lot, because I like to skate and it's what I enjoy, and I'm very thankful for that. There are some times where I can't like get a deck when I need it, so I'll just go back to an old one that's in a decent condition. Maybe I'll try to fix up the chips a bit, maybe try to reshape it a bit to give it more pop, if I can, that is. But in the future, when I go through those times, I'm going to use some wood putty and see if I can reshape a few old decks to skate them. So, you know, I'm very blessed, but in the tough times, I use what I got. Simply because I skate, because it is very fun, and I enjoy it, and it's great.